Cows are magnificent. I mean, there's just so much to love. My love for cow began in the quasi-heart of South Florida's cow country, my hometown, Davie, Florida. I've become a little bit of a cow aficionado. That's why when the famous Twitter account Uberfacts tweeted about cows, I had to click. The tweet read, "Just like humans, cows moo in accents specific to their region." A cow with an accent. Was this just a load of bull? Apparently not. Cows are actually pretty linguistically complex. Cows' herds dictate the accents cows moo with. But cows aren't the only ones with discriminating ears. We too judge each other by how we sound. Sounds complicated. In today's globalized world, now more than ever, and especially as Americans, we interact with other accents in the most intimate of spaces. And it's time we considered the way we perceive them. According to the Oxford Handbook of Language and Social Psychology, our brains can instantly flag an unfamiliar accent as other, which can cause mistrust and misunderstanding. The handbook distinguishes accents across languages, like Polish or Colombian accents, from accents within languages, like Southern or Boston accents. The handbook explains that both kinds of non-standard speakers are, by and large, evaluated less favorably in social situations when making friends, professional situations when applying for high-class jobs, and even courtroom situations when defending innocence. So, listen up. Let's discuss accent discrimination in its two forms. First, judging accents across languages, and next, judging accents within them. Finally, let's move to some solutions to open our ears and our hearts. For the next 10 minutes or so, I'm really going to be milking these cow puns. All right, I get it. Maybe not everyone loves milk. Maybe you are an almond milk drinker. It's okay. Our accents, like our milk preference, can breed some discrimination. Let's first discuss the sour stigmas of foreign accents when non-natives cross languages. Accent stereotypes undeniably parallel racial ones. In fact, accents can be more potent social markers than race. In 2009, a Harvard University study published in Social Cognition tested 5-year-old American children about who they would choose to befriend after sound bites and photographs of potential friends. The children almost exclusively chose those with standard American accents, selecting consistently against alternative French accents, but inconsistently against race. Maybe accents guide children's social preferences so heavily because, starting young, we equate accent with character. And Disney had been doing it for ages. In 1933, Disney released an animated short film turned Disney classic, The Three Little Pigs. In it, as linguist Rosalina Lippi-Green points out, the big bad wolf is a Jewish peddler with hook nose, side locks, brim hat, and glaring Yiddish accent. After Jewish sensibility complaints, Disney changed the wolf's appearance, but the Yiddish accent remained for years. And Disney has yet to really kick this habit of demonizing the foreign. Think about it. Mufasa, American accent. Scar, foreign. Peter Pan, American accent. Captain Hook, foreign. Aladdin, American accent. Jafar, foreign. Huh, it is a whole new world. And these stigmas translate into the real world. Our world is marked with borders that define and separate us, but few walls are as impenetrable as our accents. We cannot drop or swap our accents. Sorry, Madonna. Some learned firsthand. In his memoir, East Eats West, Writing in Two Hemispheres, Vietnamese American Andrew Lam tells of his uncle Tho Lam. At 44, Tho arrived in the States and started over. After completing night school and law school, Tho began his American dream, but something stopped him. His tongue. Tho's accent signaled his foreignness, which deemed him unemployable. Perfectly qualified and especially insightful, Tho never practiced law. Instead, he wound up working in his wife's grocery store until his drinking habits claimed him. The advice he left for his nephew? Get rid of your accent. Americans turn a deaf ear to foreigners. You see, accents aren't always sunshine and green pastures. Maybe for the cows. But unlike for cows, accents don't go in one ear and out the other. Accents impact. But we don't just reject foreign accents from other countries. We even reject homegrown accents within our own language. Judgment of these accents is no longer a question of nationalism. Rather, it springs from a localized culture and a perceived status. Whether you speak New York or Southern or dude, your accent says a lot about you. Other countries have similar phenomena. Let's travel across the pond. There are several dialects in the United Kingdom, from Cockney to Queen's English. The play My Fair Lady shows the difference that a good British accent makes on the status of Londonite Eliza Doolittle. In the story, Professor Higgins transforms Miss Doolittle from street rat to aristocrat by changing her accent. The story shows how accents, though potent social markers, they can't tell you what's in here. But we too often can't hear them that way. And the harsh profiling of a way of talking isn't just fiction. In 2002, researchers from Lancaster University found that a criminal suspect in the United Kingdom would be rated significantly more criminal with a Birmingham British accent compared to a standard British accent. And Stanford linguist John R. Rickford unfortunately notices similar biases directed against those who sound African American in courtrooms in the United States, as was the case for Rachel Jeantel, key witness in the Zimmerman trial. Widespread ignorance and hostility about legitimate linguistic and cultural differences in America, as Rickford explains, influences the way justice is parceled out in our country. Bottom line, our own accent biases taint our perceptions of others, even our own countrymen, even when it matters the most. But there's no use crying over spilt milk. Now that we understand accent discrimination, there's a latte we can do to stop it. First, let's get familiar with other accents. Enroll in a class whose professor has a non-standard accent, or listen to a foreign music station in the car. The more comfortable your ear, the better. And that's a fact. A recent study from the University of Chicago, published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, found that the leading reason we distrust or dismiss accented speakers may be that their speech is difficult to process. The experiment involved participants hearing trivia statements like, "Ants don't sleep," and rating the statement's reliability. The harder the speech was to understand, the less reliable it was rated. We cannot continue living with tunnel vision, or in this case, tunnel listen. Next, let's get educated about accent stereotypes so we won't fall for them in the media. Hollywood uses accents as archetypes to imply character traits, but these don't translate literally. A Southern drawl does not mean a lack of education or poor hygiene, and a British accent does not mean savvy, cunning, and instantly more cultured than you. The majority of roles in the media pigeonhole accents this way. But as informed viewers, we can be ear witnesses to the truth about accents. And finally, if you have a non-standard, foreign, or homegrown accent, do not let it faze you. And allow me to share something with you. My family is Cuban American, and my grandparents have the accent that comes with that. They also have the immigrant story that often accompanies a foreign accent. my immigrant grandfather, who came to this country with $5 and an education, grinded to provide for his family. After grappling the trauma associated with fleeing one's country, learning English, and making moves, he became an expert physician at his local hospital. When I asked him how his accent impacted his journey, he told me about his colleagues, who too had Cuban accents. One of his colleagues once remarked, "If I didn't have an accent, I could be king of this hospital." Well, my grandfather, though he never became king of anything, did become chief of anesthesia, that is. My grandfather has since retired from his position at the hospital, but doctors across the community admire him still, because he was a good doctor. My grandfather says that he's proud of his accent. It means he knows more than one language and connects him to his culture. So, gather the herd. Today, we've grazed both foreign and homegrown accents and how we interact with them. Our voices are our greatest advocates. We, as a Vanderbilt community, should have a special place in our hearts for diversity and make it our business to be the best listeners possible across all cultures. Who knew that both cows and people have accents? The next time I see a cow in my hometown, I'll ask the burning question, "Hello, how do you moo?"